I guess I'll go next here. So I have a mangaka's weirdly wonderful workplace, also known as Egao no Taenai Shokuba desu, also known as Egatae. That's the abbreviation. So originally, this was a manga original by Kuzushiro, and when I saw that name, I was like, I feel like I should know that from somewhere. And surprise, it is actually Kuzushiro is actually the author slash artist behind Inugami-san to Nekoyama-san, which, like, if you guys don't know, that was. Did anybody here watch it? I'm just curious, like, because I watched it, but I don't know whether anybody else here knows that name. But
I don't think so. No.
it was like a short series, I believe, that was just years and years back. This was like pre-COVID era, but it was like a little like cute series about like two girls and like their kind of like schoolgirl kind of supporting character cast, just going around, and like one girl acts like a cat and one girl acts like a dog, stuff like that, and kind of like, you know, golden retriever energy business, and the other cat person is kind of like shy and kind of like, you know, does this and that. And it was a cute little series. I liked it. But I thought I thought this artist kind of went away with the wind after that series got adapted. But apparently not. This series got made, so it got adapted by Voil. So for those of you who do not know, Voil Studio is the studio who adapted Acro Trip. So Acro Trip was a series about kind of magical girl, kind of a trope inversion, right, of magical girls done a little bit while back. The protagonist was like a fan of this magical girl, but then got sucked in into working with the villain, right, and doing all of this and that.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah, so it was a little cute series. I like the premise. The animation was certainly a little bit budget, but overall it was pretty well done within the constraints of that budget. In fact, Voil for this series specifically, Egatae, brought back the Acrotrip gang, the team behind Acrotrip, most of the audio visual team, the animations team, the director, the series composition people, and put them under the directorship of the Acrotrip guy, of the Acrotrip director, Suzuki Kaoru. So, for those of you who don't know, Suzuki Kaoru, obviously, other than Acrotrip, also has some experience with some other smaller stuff like Dive, My Roommate is a Cat, stuff like that. But pretty solid team, I think, overall. They're all relatively experienced, so I thought this was a pretty good team to kind of run over again, assuming they have budget constraints and they don't have all the money in the world to do all of their stuff. Pretty good team to execute on this. On the other side, the production committee spent quite a decent money, I think, on the seiyuu side. And I'm not sure why they spent so much money, but most of the seiyuu cast, the voice acting cast, are like prolific veterans, or at least quite experienced seiyuu. Like the least experienced seiyuu are, well, I'll go through the list here, but it's like, the list of the voice acting cast is Itomiku, Amamiya Sora, Natsuyoshi Yuko, Matsui Eriko, Saiki Iori, Fukuyama Jun, Inoue Kikuko, Noto Mamiko, Hanami Haru, Hayami Saori, Uesaka Sumire, Kobayashi Yu. I'm sitting here like, why did you spend so much fucking money on this like smaller series?
Characters too.
Yeah, the supporting characters is literally like a larger series, like main cast essentially. It would be the main cast in the larger series, and out of those, the quote unquote least experienced are Hanae Mirai and Natsuyoshi Yuko, and they've still done quite a decent amount of stuff in the past like 5 to 10 years. So, and obviously the other people are like A plus listers kind of. So. I don't know what was going on with the production committee people or like what was going on with the budgeting, but I think they put a little bit too much into the voice acting cast. But yeah. Going over to the audio visuals, our opening ending. The opening is Zettai Shousan. So that Zettai Shousan, Zettai Shousan, or also known as Absolute Praise, done by Honeyworks and Hakonyo Lily. So for those of you who don't know who Hakunya Lily is a spin-off of two vocalists from who were originally also from Honeyworks. So it's pretty much just like a Honeyworks in-house orgy going on there. As for how the opening was, the song itself was relatively standard. It's a standard anime song OP. For those of you who don't know what a Honeyworks a song sounds like, just go to Honeyworks channel and just look at it. It's like they all have a pretty similar tone, but lyrics aside, right? But they all have a pretty similar tone, pretty similar set of keys. I would say the storyboard itself was actually solidly above average relative to its budget. I'm not sure if I appreciated the kind of like slower foreboding parts, because it's like, you know how a lot of series a lot of openings have a thing where it's like they have like all the happy characters, and then like in the last like 20 seconds right before the opening ends, or 20 or 30 seconds before the opening ends, they have a thing where it's like, oh no, the characters are in trouble, or it's like the characters are so sad. But then through the power of teamwork, and then like the rest of the cast comes in and it's like happy again, right? That sort of like slow and like sad foreboding part, I wasn't very impressed with, because it was literally just like the same walking scene over and over and over again. I was like, okay, well, you could try a little bit harder than that to make me feel down during that part, right? You could try something else, but I think the storyboard was a little bit lackluster in that part. But I would say actually, and this is a little bit of my whole like, I'm not that impressed with Honeyworks songs coming through, but there are some Honeyworks songs that I like, but overall I'm not like super impressed with them. But I thought the storyboard was better than the Anisong opening, and this is like one of the few times where I'd say that. Usually it's like both are really good, or it's like the Anisong is a little bit better than the storyboarding, because a lot of storyboarding is pretty standard these days. But actually, the storyboard is slightly better than the song. As for the ending is "Thankful" by Seizuk. So Seizuk is a project circle or group by Shunryu. For those of you who don't know, Shunryu is a kind of producer, composer, blah, blah, blah. Was done like projects with a lot of people, Chihara Minori, like I think some like members of former Supercell, stuff like that. And this time, the ending that he did for this series, Thankful, again, the name is Thankful. The vocal was actually done by Yanagi. So Yanagi has done a couple of endings in recent times, which is a big shame, because there was a time when if you called Yanagi, she was very well damn doing an opening. You're not gonna hire Yanagi to do a freaking ending. But yeah, so this ending was sung by Yanagi and composed by Shinryu. I would say I think the composition of this ending is honestly, and plus the fact that the vocals are by Yanagi, is honestly like super above average for an ending. It's like this is one of the few endings that I think goes toe to toe with standard anime openings in terms of quality. So pretty good. The storyboarding is like completely whatever. It's honestly the same as like a very standard, hey, I'm walking, this chibi version of the character is walking across the screen kind of thing. It's very not impressive, but the ending itself is definitely like at least opening quality. It's kind of silly. I think if they like switch the opening and the ending, I'll be like, yeah, this sounds about right. Like this is like about what I expected, but it's actually like pretty silly. So you guys should actually check it out. Yeah, again, it's like Thankful by Seizuk. Yeah, so the music here, the BGM, was done by Haneoka Kei. So for those of you who don't know, Haneoka Kei was the person who did music behind Kaguya-sama, Kono Oto Tomare, Owari Monogatari, and Negima. A lot of the Negima, both the, I believe, original as well as a lot of the recent like stuff.
Which Negima? There's Negima and then Negima with the exclamation point question mark.
It was the. It was. I think I think they did actually the one with the exclamation question mark one.
Oh, you mean the better one?
Yeah. So music for that. But overall, the BGM was well done in place. So pretty good work from the sound team. Mostly pretty subtle, which is the standard you should have, in my opinion, for the Slice of Life series, and only really kind of bubbling up during the more active scenes. So I think that's fine. The animation clearly has budget constraints on it from what you can see with regards to the actual animations and like the frames and stuff like that. But the focus on kind of raising the quality of the static character models and the design, as well as kind of, you can see that they're trying to really make do properly with computer assisted animations during certain scenes, I think does glue the animation bits of the series pretty decently, and I would definitely give it a passing grade. It's pretty decently done for the budget at hand. Obviously, it doesn't compete with the Sakugs of a series like, I don't know, Hoseki no Ruri, or right, Ruri no, or Ruri, excuse me, Ruri no
Rocks,
Hoseki,
bro.
yeah,
Rocks.
yeah, Ruri Rocks, or so a couple of the other series that had much better budgets, but it does pretty decently within its constraints, and for that, I gotta give them a thumbs up. So coming across the general plot here, so the uh, how did I say this? I want to kind of do this without dragging on too long, but essentially you have the main character, Futami Nana, and she is a shoujo manga artist. She is friends, or she works with a blonde. So Futami Nana is the purple haired girl that you see on the poster art. She works with her blonde haired editor, Sato Kaede, as well as her assistant, the brown haired Hazama Mizuki. So they're essentially working in the general kind of manga artist workplace setting. The editor, Sato Kaede, will usually be working in the office or something like that. And the general series is about sort of the everyday goings on of the shoujo manga artist Taminana, and how she interacts with the rest of the cast, and a lot of the comedy is based also on sometimes like the delusions that she has, as well as just general kind of workplace references and trivia and comedy and humor. So for the most part, it, again, as I just mentioned, it is a general light comedy based off of workplace related habits and humor like references, right? Again, think about something like Dilbert or The Office or whatever, right? Or working, or servant service, right? That's a series, right? I got that wrong. Yeah, servant service, as well as slice of life themed kind of delusions from the protagonist. So Taminana will go on these like tangents about, oh, what if the editor is doing this, or like, oh, what is she not talking to me because blah 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 blah. So she'll like make all these crazy extrapolations, and that's sort of part of the comedy, right? And the others have to like calm her down or do whatever. I would say the character interactions and humor are pretty middling. It's kind of sad because the character interactions are very, very focused on the whole like. It's similar to like Yonkoma, right? Where it's like a two part shtick where the person does something really like weird or really pertaining to that shtick, right? Something like, I'm really short, so I can't do this, or like I'm expressionless, so I'm expressionless and don't get fazed by anything, so I just stepped on a rake and I made no emotions, or like I'm really whatever, right? There's like all that sticks again, like something like Komi-san or Zai Senpai or whatever it is, right? So Staminana will do these things, and then it will be kind of up to the characters to respond to that. And I'm kind of like, I don't really find that like call and response thing that impressive once it becomes very evident. And the humor again is very like, oh no, what if blah blah, and it's like, no, that's not gonna happen, or whatever it is. And although there's only one episode right now, I'm not like that impressed about what's happening. I do like the general kind of workplace vibes, workplace references, and culture, and kind of slight light humor around that. I think that creates little bit of a better vibe, although obviously that's been done before. But I do like the atmosphere that creates. And I think probably if there was a little bit more focus on that. Remember, this is sort of first impressions. It's not like a full review. But I think in the future episodes, if there was more focus on the workplace stuff and less focus on like, oh no, oh the protagonist is having all these like crazy thoughts and reacting crazy. I don't think that's the author's like strength, and I don't think that was really the author's strength during Inugami-san and Nekuyama-san either, because in that Inugami-san to Nekuyama-san, everybody had their slightly like crazy moments, but it was like made better by the fact that like nobody was super crazy, and everybody like they had like 4 people at the end, like when at near the end of the series, where everybody was kind of running around, kind of contributing their own slight bit of craziness, so like how Yuri did it, and I think that's a much better structure than whatever is kind of going on right now. But I think the way that this series premise and structure is set up is just like the character interactions aren't very impressive. It's just like kind of boring because Futami Nana is the one that's just like just saying all this stuff, and then everybody else, and then the second part of the shtick in the story, in terms of the humor, in terms of the character interactions, everybody having to reply to it. So not too impressed by that. Again, wish they focus. I hope they focus a little bit more on the workplace humor kind of stuff, but we'll see. Overall, I don't think it's anything to write home about. Again, kind of plus thumbs up on how they manage the animation stuff within budget. I wasn't like particularly impressed by the voice acting cast or whatever, despite, this is like, there's only so much you can do in this series, right? So it's like, I still don't know why they hired such a big voice acting cast, but apparently they did. So here we are. But yeah, I think I would overall rate this a 4 out of 10. I feel like if I say 3.5 or 3, I would be going into like, this is objectively, there are problems with this. It's like bad stuff happening, but I don't think it's bad stuff happening. It's just like, I'm not impressed. And then also the lack of a proper novelty factor makes it below average. So I would say 4. Maybe I would think about giving it a 4.5. I'm just not that impressed. So, but yeah. 4.4, maybe 4.5 out of 10. I know this has like a 6.85 out of 10 on Ma. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this what?
It's okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's pretty middle of the road for Mal.
yeah. So overall, a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that was Egao no Taenai Shokuba desu, a workplace where you can't help but smile. This was done by Kuzushiro, also the artist behind Inugami-san to Nekuyama-san. I hope that this series kind of blooms a little bit better in terms of workplace comedy. I'm not holding my breath over it, but I think if it does, it could definitely improve a lot. Again, this was a manga original, adapted by Voil Studios. So if you're really hungry for this sort of like, back and forth light kind of humor, or you want to see what the Inugami-san to Nekuyama-san author got up into in their later works, please do check this out.